Um, how to lose a room before you even start. So welcome. We're going to talk about a resource bank, clever naming, called the FinLit Resource Bank. My name is Jeff Gumas. I am with World Education, and I'm joined, and majority of the presentation is going to actually be with Mary Gaston. What's that? Sorry, from South Carolina, and her colleague who's also, I think, from South Carolina, yes, Rebecca Hannon. And so what we wanted to do, oh, here we are, I forgot we had this slide. What's that? I had a new headshot taken today. There are free headshots in the exhibit hall, by the way, if you didn't know that. So I recommend it's on the far right. So if you need a fresh headshot, go for it. All right, so, and welcome to our friends online. So this is our outline for today. We're gonna do a welcome. We're gonna do actually a little Mentimeter poll for you just to get a sense of where you are with financial literacy, not your own financial literacy, but teaching financial literacy. And then we're gonna look at this resource called the FinLit Resource Bank that we didn't develop per se, but we actually had a bunch of educators work together to build to support key financial literacy topics for adults. And what we'll do then is you're going to get a choose your own adventure if you want. You can look at the topic that you're most interested in, and Mary's going to walk through all of the resources that are in each one of these collections. So you have a sense of all of the resources that are at your fingertips within the bank. And then we'll share a few more resources and ideas, but there'll be a lot of discussion on let's look at this resource and how would you use it throughout. So on screen, if you scan, those are the slides if you want them in mobile format. We do have them in the chat in Whova. And if you want to join right now, if you're not on the app, but if you're on a computer and want to type in, it's bit.ly/coabe finlit. So go ahead and enter that now. I see some people writing, so I'll give you about 10 more seconds. All right. So another thing to scan. So we love having lots of tabs open, both Mary and I. But we're going to do a Mentimeter poll. So if you can scan this on your phone, this is a poll that we are going to walk through just to get a sense of where you are with, again, teaching financial literacy and what it is you teach. So I'm going to give you a second to scan. I believe that Rebecca will share the link to this in the chat as well for those online. And I'm going to hit escape. You can still see the code. See some people still scanning. Got it? It's not picking up for you?
Oh, yeah, it's not on present.
What's it?
It's not on present for you.
Well, oh, like, are you able to scan it and go to something or? Yeah. Okay.
If you're at an angle, it won't pick it up.
Yeah.
It's very thin.
Wait, really?
There you go.
Oh, so yeah, I was wondering if it actually like gave you something to click. All right, so the first question is, and if you want to, you can also go to menti.com and enter in this code. So it seems like there must be a lot of people online because this number is popping up like crazy. So how comfortable do you feel about teaching or offering financial literacy? It seems like somewhat comfortable is the sweet spot here. A few are very comfortable. Someone's uncomfortable. Hopefully you'll gain comfort after today. All right, you can still answer that if you have not yet, but I'm going to move on to the next question, and that is, what financial literacy resources do you or have you used? So this should be an open response question. So anything and everything that maybe you've used, none. Okay. That's a very honest response. My brain, also helpful. TSTM, okay, so that is something that we'll touch upon very briefly at the end, because this is one of the topics of TSTM, the TSTM toolkit. Okay, great. Local bank, that might have financial literacy resources for patrons, which is great. Budget tracker, so lots of great budget tools that you can use to help students develop budgets, smart planning, Money Smart. It's one of the resources that we're actually going to look at today. Using a budget tracker, maybe a template or one that you create with learners in Google Sheets or Excel, so you can integrate digital literacy into financial literacy. Money Smart isn't great, so glad to hear so many people are aware of Money Smart. Local credit union. So this is an area where we know that local banks and even national banks provide lots of resources because they want patrons to have some level of financial literacy, which is good. My Future, I don't know if that's someone in the room or online, but what is that? Anyone?
It's a local state one we have.
Okay.
It's actually my future from
Oh, okay. Awesome.
but
I'm
they're
a,
actually working with them all over.
oh, nice. Excellent. I'm a New Hampshireite. So hello neighbor, former neighbor. I'm in Chicago now. All right, and we'll go to the last question. What financial topics do your students express the most interest or concerns about? And this is a open response, and it's going to be a word also budget. So if you see things that are like, oh yeah, that's something my students are concerned about, go ahead and repeat. This is a word cloud, so basically the bigger words will be ones that are repeated. Gas, so literally down to like very specific item. Minus the eggs. um, Budget, budgeting, general budget, credit cards, paying bills, taxes, which is coming up. As a reminder, again, I'm not an accountant, but you have 2 weeks and I need to do mine too. Loans, credit rehab, credit cards, credit score, tuition, how to save money. So saving, budgeting, excellent. So no surprises. I don't think I'm seeing anything here. Feeding their family is one of the most basic needs. So financial insecurity, obviously, has many ripple effects. And so making sure that our learners are financially literate is an important one. So you can keep adding to this as we go. I'm not closing this. I'm going to just escape out of the full screen. So if you want to add, feel free. All right, we're going to talk about most of those topics and see where they fall within the bank. And then again, looking at resources that you can use to develop that. So what I'm going to do, another scan, sorry there's so much scanning here. Just trying to load you up at the start. So if you can, hopefully you can scan this. This is one of the collections in our resource bank. And I'm happy to take a phone and go to the center if you want. But go ahead and scan this. And again, if you're online, Rebecca will share the link. And then I will open it up. If you were in my previous session, as Deborah was, I like doing this as an engagement to just kind of ground people and make sense of what it is we're even looking at before we dive in. So I'm going to open up this collection. And I'm just going to scroll very slowly for those of you who didn't scan or couldn't scan. Just to show you what is in here. So just as I do this, see a bunch of stuff. So what do you see in here as I'm making my way through? What's that? Is there sources and what they have? What else? I heard a very quiet voice in the back. A lot of resources from banks, which they do provide lots of resources.
Most of these articles to read, or are they interactive?
So you see most of resources. That's a question. That's what you wonder. So what do you wonder? Are these to read or are they interactive? That's a great question. We'll be diving in. Anything else you notice on this top part?
Comment online says the resources available in more than one language.
Most of these resources, particularly from the financial institutions, are available in English and Spanish. So that is a great observation. What do you, well, I'll scroll down a little bit. So then we see this.
Glossary.
What's that?
Glossary.
There's glossaries, and there's a number of different resources within that. Let me scroll further down. See this. All right, so what do you think? What do you think we're looking at?
The bank of resources.
It's a bank of resources for great. So some resources that you can take and build whatever you want with your learners for your financial literacy program. What else do you think or even wonder? I'll just do both of those questions. What do you think or what do you wonder as you're looking? Is there guidance for how to use them? You go ahead. This was pulled together by, I'll walk you through exactly how this was pulled together in a second. Yep. We pulled this together with a bunch of educators. Go ahead.
Resource for students, what's the readability?
So what's the readability of these resources? That's a great question. That's a wonder. Any other wonders that folks have? It's okay if you know. So yeah, this is a collection. This is a collection of resources in a tool called Wakelet. So Wakelet is a free tool that allows you to pull things together and to organize them. And we thought this was a good container, if you will, for compiling all of these things related to financial literacy. And so in terms of what you see here and what we're going to be looking at today, this is something that was built by educators. And the way that we did that was through a service learning professional development process that we call the EdTech Makerspace. And it was funded by the Florida Literacy Coalition. Anyone from Florida in here? No, interesting. So Florida has a lot of great resources, and they've organized lots of things as well. And they do focus on financial literacy. They also have a grant program that they do with programs that want to develop programming for financial literacy. But in this makerspace, we work with teachers to help them both understand a content area and become more expert in that content area, as well as sometimes have them learn how to use educational technology tools so that they can learn how to use popular tools that they can then think about their own use of that. But they do it in the service of creating something that everybody can use. So in this case, we had teachers and worked with them and gave them a topic workbook along, there are 8 topics. I'm actually forgetting there are 8 topics, I think, maybe 7. They selected a topic they wanted to focus on. Budget and spending plans was the one we were just looking at. And then we worked with them to compile words and definitions for terms that are relevant to that particular topic. So we created an open glossary of resources, and then we taught them how to build Google Slides using a template so that every single one of the vocabulary terms has the word, has the definition, has it in a sentence, has an image that relates to it. They are all accessible. We taught them how to design slides to be accessible, and they found audio so that there's actually audio files that are linked to so that you can hear the words. So again, it's service learning. They're learning how to do this, but now for all of the topics, we have slides that have the terms that have been created by educators. At the same time, we had them explore different websites like Learning Chocolate. Anyone ever heard of Learning Chocolate? It's a good language learning platform. If you turn on an ad blocker, it's beautiful. Because if you don't have an ad blocker on, it's just a bunch of ads. If you turn that thing on, it's just nice and clean. It's just the activity. And so they poured through there and found Learning Chocolate activities that aligned. And then they pulled them together into those wakelets. So they each created a wakelet and followed a similar structure. So that the end result is those teachers that were on that previous page created all of these collections for you that in turn are the Financial Literacy Resource Bank. And so those slides are also one of the things in the topic collection. So as part of this process, we run a makerspace. We basically model how to use Google Classroom with teachers so that that's how we're actually running it and how they're learning as well. It's all remote. We do 3 sessions with them. They're all on Zoom. We organize content in Sheets. And again, all of this is to help model technology use with the teachers. We teach them how to find open content through things like Wikimedia Commons. So the images come from these open source places, just to help them understand, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean you can use it and share it. As well as things like Hemingway Editor. When they write the sentences in the slides, we made sure that they were 6th grade level or below. So Hemingway Editor is a tool that allows you to adjust the language to make sure it's readable. So to the question about readability, the slides, at least, we know that they're at 6th grade level or below. Because they're openly licensed, you as a teacher could take them, adapt them, and lower them if you needed to for your particular learners. We teach them to explore media, so finding images on things like Unsplash, using Google Pronounce, which is a great tool that models speaking, like it actually mouths the words. You can slow it down, you can hear the word. Those are all embedded in the slides. As well as other resources. And then we used all of these different ed tech tools. That slides and Wakelet were the 2 that we focused on, but they could create Jamboards. Rest in peace, it's gone. So those are gone, we've swapped them out. But they could use WordWall or Flippity to design additional activities that they might use with the terms and things. And all of these got pulled together in those Wakelets. So what we built is over 300 resources and organized them into these wakelets. All of the topics have topic explainers. Most of those topic explainers are in English and Spanish. And then there's a combination of games and videos and leveled readings and adapted resources and the vocabulary terms as well that I pointed out. To Deborah's question, there's also a guide, and the guide is linked in every single one of the collections. And so this guide provides an overview of what it is. It has links to all of the topics. It has an overview of the explainers. So some of the explainers are from financial institutions, some of them are from government institutions, what languages they're available in, if they include offline resources. And then a walkthrough of each of the resources, which Mary is going to go through in more depth as we go, but a walkthrough of the structure of each of these explainers. So there's detail on those. A walkthrough of the vocabulary resources that are available. So there is a built-in glossary that's from Money Smarts, which somebody mentioned, but then also guidance on how to use the slides, how to download the slides, how to copy the slides, which Mary will walk through again, how you can use them to provide speaking and listening practice, and then some of the other resources that we pulled in, such as Learning Chocolate and Reading Skills for Today's Adults, which is a leveled reading collection. And we had them find the readings that align to the topics. And so all of those are organized in this bank. And so now Mary is going to walk through one of the topics in a little looking at the same block, or not block, sorry, same collection that we were looking at, but you can choose to go to whatever collection you're most interested in. So.
All right, sound check. Can the people in the chat online hear me?
I don't feel like you've got enough.
I didn't say enough. Can you hear me? All right, I can be heard. As Jeff already said, every one of the collection components has every one of the collections has these 3 components. So you've got your topic explainers, you've got your vocabulary, and you've got your leveled reading and related resources. All of the collections are accessible from this Padlet. If you've got the slide deck, you have the link to it. There's also a QR code. And if needed, Rebecca can drop that link to the Padlet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Padlet, so you can kind of see where we're going. all of the Wakelet collections. I think we figured out there were 8. Saw 2 columns of 4 in there. It's a long time ago that we did this. I don't remember numbers in my head. But this first column has links to each one of those. So if you go to the Padlet, you get to explore whichever one you want. As I'm walking through, I am going to be using this one right here, the budgets and spending plans. You can open it and follow along with me. You can watch what I do up here, or you can open one of the other ones. Now, after I go through it and you guys have some time to explore a little bit, we're going to ask you the questions in columns 2 and 3. Which resource are you most excited about using with your learners? And what connections can you make to different content? You know, we all come from different content areas. So what connections can you make to financial literacy from your context? So you can keep that open if you want to, but that's the way for you to get to the ones that you want. All right, we've already said this. We're going to use this one for our tour, and you're welcome to choose another one. So diving in just a little bit more on the topic explainers, there's 2 categories, and we felt like it was important to separate them. The first category are government and nonprofit resources. The second category that come under that in each of the Wakelets, those are U.S. financial and banking. It's not to say that they're less helpful or less useful, but you just have to think about where they're coming from in the material that they're presenting for you, and just keep that in mind. And this is the page out of the guide that Jeff told you about, the instructional guide. And again, it tells for each one of the sources, what kind of format, whether it has offline resources, which can be very important for some contexts, and the different languages. All right, now I'm gonna talk about vocabulary, and then I'm gonna dive out. No, I'm not gonna do that. Let me decide on the fly. What am I going to do? Can I close? I can close this one out. Okay, so let's start with up here. I think Jeff mentioned it. It was a great question during the See, Think, Wonder. Is there an overview guide? And this will be linked at the top of every one of the collections. So here you have the ones that are government and nonprofit. I'm going to go into Money Smart just to show you what it looks like. And I'm going to click on the English. The Spanish is right next to it. We actually have it linked to the that particular topic that this Wakelet is about. It tells about, if you do the whole thing, it's an hour and 45 minutes. I know we used Money Smart years ago with a group of young adults in our adult ed program in South Carolina. And we tended to use the full curriculum. But it's pick and choose. You get to pick and choose what's going to be relevant or usable for you. Each one of these has an instructor guide, has a participant guide, has PowerPoint slides already done for you. It has a train the trainer video, and sometimes there will be other resources like this topic has a game. I'm not going to open the game because it's a pretty comprehensive game and takes some time. And on this page, you can toggle back and forth. On most of the Money Smart, you have to go to the Spanish link to find the Spanish resources, but on the games, you can toggle back and forth. So this, like I said, each one, there's 3 rounds in this one, and each one takes about 15 minutes. Not all of the units have that, but some of them do. All right, I'm going to go down to, and we have, if they had games, we encourage participants to pull those links out and link them separately, but they're available in both places. Then you've got the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, and we have linked to the full toolkit right here and all of the relevant topics within that collection. So let's see, which one was I going to? Let's do Income and Benefits Tracker. This is an example of an offline resource that could be used. I will open that one and show you, give you an idea of what that is. So you've got a paper product there that can be used in settings where you're not using the digital. And then USA Hello. I really wanted to open this one because I want you to see all of the languages that are available for USA Hello. And there you go. So you get to choose, which is really cool. So these are texts. They have links to other resources, but it is like an online article for you to use. The next category is going to be your financial and banking institution. Let's take a look at the Wells Fargo one. Open one. So there's you a video. There's a transcript you can pick up from it. And then there's some summary information at the bottom. Practical Money Skills is from Visa. Has a whole collection of financial calculators. I thought I would open that and show you how much car can you afford. Oh, when I'm in a hurry. Oh God, and I chose the wrong one. 50-50. How much car can you afford? How much house can you afford? Something I'm thinking about. Do I have enough retirement money? Save $1 million. This one's fun to look at because it factors in your age and how much you have to save to get to $1 million, but also saving for a goal. And that's just one of the things that's available from that collection. And then you have Bank of America resources. And in fairness, let's see which one we want to click on here. Simple ways to save money for the future. And it tells you this one is about an 11-minute read. So you can tell this is a teacher-facing resource and not a learner-facing resource, but it's a place for you to go and find things to help you deliver that for your learners.
What's your basis for determining that it's an 11-minute?
That
wasn't me. That was them.
theirs, yeah.
That was them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was them. So it would be a much longer read for some. Yes,
Yeah.
Even me?
There was a level.
it's an excellent question. All right, this section is about vocabulary. And back to the slide. So at the top of every one, you're going to have glossaries, 2 of them. One comes from Consumer Finance Protection Bureau and one comes from the Money Smart Glossary. Then we have one that's relevant only to the topic of that specific wakelet and view and copy slide links. You also have, as Jeff said, the Learning Chocolate study sets and the teacher created activities. So back to the wakelet and let's take a closer look. So if I'm viewing the slides, I'm going to click right there. And as he said, you've got the term, the definition, the contextual sentence, and the image. These are, have we said they're free and have we said they're adaptable? So if you've got a sentence that is more relevant to your learners, change it out. If you've got an image that's more relevant to something you're talking about, you have the ability to do that too. We favor Google Pronounce, as Jeff said. I don't know if we're sharing sound right now, but this is what it looks like. You get the phonetic spelling, you get the pronunciation with the mouth moving, and you can slow it down.
Budget.
But, and I tell people, I don't do this in public because I'm from South Carolina and it usually rejects my pronunciation. So if you are connected to a microphone, you can actually practice and it will tell you when you have it right. Which I do most of the time, but not all the time. So
It's funny.
it might do the same thing. I don't know, you know, we can figure out the bias in it, right? All right. If you want to make copies, these, you know, they're not very large decks. This one has about 16, but depending on the group you're working with, you may not want to use all 16. So one thing you can do is, and of course you can't see it down here, but you go to the grid view by clicking right there, and you can just select the ones you want. Click on one, you notice it has the blue going around the edge, hold down Control, pick another one, all the ones that you want. So I've got 4 of them there selected. I'm going to go up to File, do Make a Copy, and just selected slides. Of course, you'll have to be logged in to Google to do that, so it has a place to save it for you. You can also, though, let me go ahead and say that, You can download the whole slide deck if you want to as a PowerPoint. If you're not a Google user, you have that option. All right, let's look at one of these Learning Chocolate study sets, and I doubt the ad blocker is on up here, but wanted to give you an idea of what it does. So this is the cover page. It's got all your vocabulary. It's got images, and you click
Cable,
to hear the word
Rent.
pronounced.
bus,
And so after
Paycheck.
you've gone over, reviewed the words, you can play matching games. So to play this one, I would click
electric,
electric, and then I'm going to try to drag
electric,
to match it.
cable, cable,
So you've got 3 different activities to do there. And
The top right, click on the little arrow. Just so-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just-
Yes.
So you can get rid of the ads. Even though, like,
paycheck,
I've seen students use this. They know.
tips, food,
You can tell I use
Rent.
it a lot. Yeah.
food, food,
All right. Stop playing, Mary. Go back. And so that's your slides. That's your learning chocolate. Teacher created activities. Someone did a flippity. And someone from this group created the flippity to share. And so we have the vocabulary words, and you click right here to flip it. And you click these there, bless you, to move through. And then when you have a set of these, if you have a set of these flashcards, you have other things available to you as well, like list and matching and more practice. And for that, they have a way for you to view the activity, but also copy the activity. And then you have, some of them had done some word walls. I think some of you said you were familiar with word wall. And if we created these, we've got them where you can save them and adapt them. But
Deductions,
of course, that's not going to be right. But
emergency fund,
there you go. But once you have a set of these, you have different games over here on the right that you can play with that set. So even though this one's dragging and matching, you could also play it as find the match here. And the definition is going to sail by, and you have to try to pick the right word. Buying things, isn't that an impulse purchase? Why would I know that? Do I ever do impulse purchases? All right, so those are your vocabulary tools. There's a slide we included just to remind you of how to make a copy of selected slides. And now we're going to talk about leveled readings. We did have 2 collections, but one of them is no longer living. So we're using just the reading skills for today's adults, which we love these. There are 350 of them, but all 350 do not relate to finance. So that was one of the things that the EdTech Makerspace did, was to take their topic and search for the ones that related. So we're going to take a look at Pay Yourself First, which is one of them. This is something going on with them right now when you're in Chrome. And the only thing I've had it interfere with is when I want to download the supplement. That will download in Edge, and it's worth downloading and taking a look at. It has pre-reading questions, post-reading questions. It has a quiz. It has a closed paragraph. It has a language activity that relates to it. Every one of these stories has a language focus. So it's worth, and it's in a Word doc. So you're able to copy, paste, adapt it how you want to use it. But one of the things I really love, when you first look at it, you got these numbers over here on the side. That is so if you want to do a cold read, you want your learner to do a cold read, you have a timer over here on the left that you can start for a minute, and they can see how far they get first time through. Then you have these 3 recordings down here at the bottom. And research says that this is one of the best ways to build fluency for learners. So they listen to the recording and try to follow along. This one's going to be your slowest, and then it's going to get faster as you move down. So what's interesting is to do the cold read, work your way through these, and then do the timer again and see what kind of progress you've made as you've done that. I do check out the supplement. I don't want to go through going to Edge and downloading it there, but it will download. And, this is a PDF of the story, pre-questions, post-questions, and this is from another EdTech Makerspace that, Jeff did. And this is where they took each one of the 350 stories, right, Jeff? And each one is in a Wakelet. It has a Quizlet that the EdTech makers created. This just takes you back to the page we were just on where the story is. And then each one has a Google Doc comprehension check in it as well. And all of these are open and adaptable. If you want to know what level the stories are, because it doesn't really tell you on the page, sometimes it will, like this link up here says level 4, but not all the stories show that level 4 in the link. So where do you go to find out what level those stories are at? We put that on the slide for you right here. This is provided by Reading Skills for Today. It is a spreadsheet. And it will give you the CCRS level, it will give you the TABE level, and it gives you the RSTA level. And the one we just looked at happened to be TABE E, I think, and it was CCRSB. And we are back to the Wakelet and time to explore. What do you think, Jeff? We are at 4:30.
Very good. Half an hour.
Okay, so it'll take 10 minutes to dive into one and explore some of the options. Doesn't have to be the budget one. You've got the Padlet there. You can choose any one you want. And we'll come back together in 10 minutes.
How do I access?
Sorry, what?
The share code, the QR code,
Yes.
you can do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could have done it the other way, yeah. More than one way to skin a cat, right?
Does anyone need me to grab their phone so I can scan in the middle?
No, I just.
10 minutes to explore, yeah. I'm just starting the
Turn your
timer.
camera. Oh, yeah. So the first column is all 8 of the collection, so pick a topic of interest,
And you would just click on it.
and it would open that Wakelet.
And there are more resources that when we come back together, Jeff will be sharing.
Do people still need the scans? Yeah, okay, sorry.
You know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
You gotta stick around. And not kick it out early, like go drink, it's kind of the plan. I drink all night. See you later. What? You think challenge accepted?
So Jeff, you would give financial advice after this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. All the tricks.
Perfect.
I'll just share my Venmo. Where in ever money?
Currently in the Brattleboro, so it's right next to me.
Yeah, I'm from Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I was in Brattleboro. Whatever, not really, I literally lived in Maine for 4 years, and I went to Brattleboro once.
That would be nice.
Why would
So-
I say that was all right, but I have to that theater. Yeah, yeah. then like where your house. It's like a Tuesday. I feel like the town is still like Tuesday. Just getting around. Yeah, yeah. All these 40 minutes, there you go, all the great concert. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It was. Absolutely. Are you from here? Awesome. Like, yay. I mean, I didn't drink a ton in college, but there's a canoe cheese in Nashville. And that was good. Good play. That's funny. What have you seen?
Early nineties,
94 to 98, so we were a while.
Jumanji, was it Jumanji?
Jumanji is filming,
We were
yeah.
there.
We closed down the town,
Yeah.
like to film that.
The beginning of the pump carving of pumpkins was around that time,
Yeah.
that was crazy. Yeah, right.
They shut down downtown. Cause it's like this quintessential in New England. And, it's also like CGI a bit, but like they shut it down. Yeah, they were actually asking for extras. Like, not doing it, but- Yeah, and, oh my God, it was. They were friends with campus. Yeah. I walked in the first, like, literally the first weekend I was there. Yeah, that was 94, so you also get a little cost, and I had this. And, the owner, and your woman, I guess, I was sat in the booth with a cigarette and soup. And I was walking in, great. And I'm like, yeah, and I could walk in there anytime I get a free slice, it's just sit in the shadow now, it was the best. The best thing you can ever do with college kid. Athens, it was Athens. Yeah.
I'm like, I can picture the building, I went in there a million times, but.
Yeah.
Here's the kind of.
And again, as you're exploring, if you want to go in the Padlet and indicate what you're excited about or interested in exploring more. Or if you have questions, also do that. And then to the point of what was made here, or just more broadly, integrating financial literacy with some of the resources into some of the other things that you teach. So reading or math or IT or digital literacy. Are there ways that you could see using these resources with those areas as well?
So am I doing something wrong or just the ones I'm choosing? I'm only seeing things to read on no matter what I click. I don't see PowerPoints, I don't see,
Okay, so if you click that open, scroll. So those are the explainers. Yep. And then those are more explainers, and then there's.
oh, I'm just not going far enough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not going far enough, okay.
Yeah.
Impatient.
Totally. So, whichever topic you're interested in, just click on it, and it'll open up the And then there's, yeah, if you want to add it to the columns.
Right.
We're good for it. Like one more minute and then we'll get a couple people. Oh, you time, oh wow, less than a minute, sorry. Clever bore. Well, because Padlet gives you fun names now.
Like Google.
Like Google, but those are kind of bad. Theirs are better, I know. Oh, this is fun. It's like playing Mafia with Padlet names. So if you haven't yet, if you now that you've explored one of these collections, there were two columns that we asked you, and we can just say them out loud too. But take a second to think about your learners, and which of the resources do you think you might use with your learners, and maybe how. That might be helpful for others too, but we'll talk about that as well. And then any connections that you can make in thinking about how could I take these resources in financial literacy in general and integrate it with other things? Because what we know is not happening is people are just stopping everything and doing financial literacy. You want to be teaching reading or other life skills. So how might you make connections with these resources to some of these other areas that you are like tasked with doing with learners? All right, so we have someone that's really interested in the games that learners can play. So those games are from Money Smart. Those are really, they're fun actually, and they are in English and Spanish. One of the things I think Mary pointed out is what you'll notice in that guide, the guide that I shared at the beginning, if it's still up, I don't know. For the resources, one of the things we indicate is if you can share one link with learners and it's a toggle to the Spanish version, because some of them it's separate websites, like this is a URL and this is a URL. But some of them, it's like there's one link, you get there, and it's like view page in Spanish, view page in English, which is nice because then like it's just one link that you have to share with learners. But yeah, these games are great. Another person indicated the Pashto translation feature. So that is in the, is it still up here? Sad that I know all these logos. Yeah, USA Hello. So when it pops up, it does that, and I don't know if it remembers on your browser or not, but you always have the ability to click here. So again, same URL, but then you can, view, and just note that this is reading this page in this language, and some of the other pages are also available in other things. If you're not familiar with USA Hello, it's not just a financial literacy resource. You can see there's lots of other topics, and all of those topic pages have that same toggle. So it's a really great resource for immigrants, refugees. That's what they're focused on, and getting used to life in the United States and helping them establish themselves. So just out loud, any other things that in particular in the resources that you've looked at that you're really interested or excited about using with your learners, or you want to explore more?
I was thinking, for an entrepreneurship class to integrate how to budget a small business, is there any resource in there?
Well, obviously the budget tools, so there's, that actually, there might be one of the, in the calculators, I'm not sure, we can look. So that's budgeting. All right, budget's the one you had open. Banking, budgeting. Yeah. So if I go to these financial calculators, I can tell you a resource for sure that does have a whole set of entrepreneurial resources. So nothing specific to running a business in these calculators, but if you've ever heard of Crash Course, if you want to write that down, it's called Crash Course. If you type that into your browser, you'd find it, and they have a whole set of, they're really great, engaging videos. I will say linguistically they're fast, but you can slow down the speed. But they do have a whole set of course on entrepreneurship. Other ideas on things or specific resources that you're interested in using more? Go ahead.
I like the idea of having the PowerPoint, the slides.
Yeah.
That I can use and adjust and.
That's great. Yeah, we've done that for digital literacy as well, because it starts with the actual knowing what these terms mean. And we've seen people take those and build lessons that start with the slides. Obviously, like front loading, but
Connected.
yes.
So many of my students, find they have such a pain and there's only so much. If I can give them something different to do with it.
Yeah, great. Go ahead.
I liked the reading skills for today's adults, but I forgot. How do you determine if it's not in the naming convention, the level or the reading difficulty? Do you assume it's kind of six?
So we have that, and we should probably add it to the guide because we added it here. Yeah. And I'm going to show you something else that we've sort of further refined these things, but this link, I don't think Mary opened it. But if you grab the slides, which are in the chat, this is a spreadsheet that I don't know. Mary, is this? Oh, here we go. You might want to get rid of this sheet one. And... Oh, that's, well, we should let them know. We're good friends. So they have on their website, but it's linked in the slides as well. I can show you on the website as well. But this lists all of the stories. This is theirs? Okay. It lists all the levels, the TABE level, and it lists, they used, I think, ATOS for the readability for all 345 of their stories. And so I'll go to the site so you can see that as well. So if you're there, this is just so gross. But if you go to more and go to resource, no, not more, like it's not the best designed site, but the readings are great. And you go to resources, then they do have, I think it's this one, the story details. Yeah, and this is the one that lists. I'll walk through that again. So the first more, resources, more. And then story details, and they have a number of other things like placement
The
charts.
placement chart is extremely helpful.
Yeah,
And the monitor sheet.
so this just helps you know what each, oh, so yeah, all the stories, because they're all bucketed into these 16 levels, and so it's more fine-tuned within each of the CCRS levels and Lexile levels. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, and again, this is not all financial literacy, but we, if you have the bank and you have this spreadsheet, then you can search for the title of the story and find it pretty easily. Yeah,
Looking at updating the tape score with the new tape that's coming out.
I'm so far removed from TABE at this point, but that's a really good point and good question, and we shall see, because that, yeah.
Can you repeat that?
The question was, thank you, thanks for the question. So the question was, with the new TABE, and they're like recalibrating or something, the TABE levels? Yeah, for 13 and 14, yeah, so TABE 11, 12, these are the TABE 11, 12 levels, so the question is, are these going to be updated and adjusted for the new TABE 13, 14? I do not know, but that is something I will actually write down and ask.
By July, most people have to use 13, 14.
Okay, okay.
As far as I know, the content is not gonna change, which means the levels are
Oh. So the levels aren't gonna change. I didn't, do you think
Well, the content on each level is different.
like the
The
standards?
standards are the same.
Right,
Standards are the same, but it's completely different tests, and then
Oh.
different content is covered on each level.
okay,
So they're not the same. Skill scores are the same, they're saying the same. but the
Right.
content-
but they haven't adjusted like readability or what the Lexile level is, because they're still standards aligned, right? So yeah, it's not gonna actually really matter. Yep, it's not gonna affect anything.
All for your GED high set, but not your ESOL student.
The earlier levels are pretty basic,
No, I mean like
oh.
about like the TABE level is not an ESOL TABE.
Correct, no, that's
It's
yes,
like
that's TABE
giving
13,
information, but
right,
as an ESOL instructor,
Yeah.
You gotta do a little more digging.
digging, yeah. And just to note, because these are all openly licensed stories, you do have the ability, and there's a PDF of them, but you could copy paste these and adjust the level, so, yeah. So, any other resources that are of particular interest or that you're really excited about using? Again, continue to explore them. So how about in terms of financial literacy? I guess we asked the question about how comfortable you are, but I mean, let me ask the question. How are you integrating, if you are integrating financial literacy with your learners? Like, what do you currently do, or how do you build it into your instruction? Anyone? If you're using it at all.
We embed it in our career exploration, career planning that they do, obviously.
Okay.
It's embedded in that.
So, which obviously makes sense. It's a clear part of that process.
Related, we have a program called Scoops for college and other post-secondary occupations, something like that. But that's where we keep most of our FinLit stuff too, is that, other than, we're a TSTM school, so.
Oh, you're teaching schools of matter? Okay, great. Okay. Oh, excellent. So it's like very focused on developing financial literacy skills. That's great.
I am not currently doing much of anything right now, but I can see how we are in my state to incorporate like employability skills modules called Georgia Best. But I could see, working in, even though it's supposed to be employer job related, jobs are money.
Right.
And adding on while we're having that activity.
Yeah.
So,
In the Padlet itself, so reading, so somebody from South Carolina, ME, don't know who that is, Uh, so reading, learners can read stories, use comprehension skills, digital literacy, using computer skills to access the resources. And then just math, counting money, budgeting, all of those things are clear integrations of financial literacy as well. Any other ideas? Yeah.
That's simple. You're able to have access to all of this.
Yeah, and I don't know if we actually put it in the chat yet, but there's the two main things are there's the main wakelet, which I guess we didn't share, did we? Yeah, but in the Whova, we have the link to the slides. I recommend going to this guide, because this guide is a doc that you can adapt and add your own notes for these things. But this has links of every single one of the collections. I'm not connected to Whova, but we can add it into that chat as well. But if you're on this Padlet, that also has it all, everything is kind of all linked together. So if you're on any of the wakelets, there is a link to the FinLit Resource Bank. And this has all of the wakelets in one place.
Slide on the chat.
What's that?
Slide on the chat.
The slide on the chat?
Chat.
Yes, the slides are in the chat. Yeah, yeah. It's all free. Yeah. See, saving you money, so that's why you gotta pay me. This is why I'm bad with money. Is like we give everything away for free, and then we're like, well, how do we keep this going? Funny how that works. Go ahead.
So, I'm from Connecticut, and in our district, what we're doing is, as a workforce person, it's now part of what we need to cover.
Okay.
And it's part of one of our digital literacy platforms. But we've also developed, a course that was run as a seminar, financial literacy. And this summer, hopefully, it'll become an online class.
Great.
That our CPP students can access.
Excellent. So this was for the folks online from Connecticut that they have developed a course that they're hoping to put online. Is it going to be freely available?
Just
Within the state?
within our
Yeah. And I will say that this is the first year that there's a financial literacy strand, or I think there was a strand before with COAB and they reintroduced it this year. So this is the first year they've done it again. So there are a number of folks downstairs that have like platforms. A couple are free that I've Jumpstart is one that's down there. They have lots of great free resources. In the exhibit hall, sorry, yeah, in the exhibit hall. I met someone earlier that I need to like remember the name, but they also have a free course that actually has a learning management system in it. I'm gonna find that as I just like, because it was really good. And they, oh, I'll find it after. This bag is just a mess. Yeah, now we'll do that in a second. But there's vendors down there that do have resources. Some are paid, but some are free. And so there's a number of other things available. All right. Yeah, we have 5 minutes. So I'm gonna get to, sorry, what's your name?
Yeah.
Matt. Okay, Matt from Vermont here. Asked about TSTM, and I heard TSTM again. How many people use TSTM? Okay, teaching skills that matter. Financial literacy is one of the topics of TSTM. And there's, well, I'm at the start of the presentation. I want to be down here. So teaching skills that matter is a teaching framework, if you will, that is organized by these 5 topic areas. One of which is financial literacy, but health literacy, workforce preparation, digital literacy, civics education. I think in what we were talking about just a second ago, we talked about the ties between financial literacy and digital literacy, and the ties between financial literacy and workforce preparation. So obviously these are overlapping topics, and also topics that are relevant and of interest to learners. The skills part are layering in skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, understanding systems, communication. interpersonal skills, basically your essential skills, employability skills, most like literally it's like a pretty much an overlapping Venn diagram of employability skills, TSTM skills. We have a platform called Skill Blocks that basically different from the bank that I just showed you, which is these separate collections that have all of these things that are just more of a teacher resource. Skill Blocks is a platform that's also free. Again, this is like, how do we make money? I don't know. Most of those resources are actually also in our Skill Blocks platform. The difference is you can build out a lesson and like select activities from our library and then add your own things. So what I'm going to show you as an FYI, and if you want to dive deeper, I'm happy to talk to you more about it. I will also just point you to the website, is I'm going to go to skillblocks.org. And at the very least, I encourage you, I really can type. This has like a big keyboard. So this is a free platform. It's free for instructors. It's free for learners. Learners don't need to log in to do anything. But you can explore lessons that teachers have created drawing from our resources or any the open education resources that are in there. And it's all the TSTM topics as well as math and language arts, but I'm going to click on financial literacy. And what you're going to see here is just a bunch of what are called blocks that teachers have created or that we've created. And these are all the ones that are aligned to financial literacy topics. So I'm just going to open one. I have no idea what I'm opening up, but I'm going to open this up anyway. Well, this is, what's that?
Risky.
It is risky. It is risky. Let me go to one that because some of these are very job related, but let me see if there's any. Okay, here's one. So this is someone from Connecticut. No, she's from Rhode Island. Who, Marianne? Yeah, what's she? She's from Pennsylvania? I think she's from Connecticut. I think she's from Rhode Island. Anyway, doesn't matter. So this is a block that she created that uses stuff from Bank of America, from the Better Money Habits, from GCF Global, which also has some financial literacy, and from Practical Money Skills. And she pulled this together into a block, and it is aligned to TSTM skills. You can see that it's aligned to these digital literacy skills, managing money online, adapting to new technology, and these financial literacy skills. So we have a bunch of content that's organized to a financial literacy framework in this platform. If I launch it, it is a collection. So she wanted to pull together something on online banking. So she just basically selected the activities that she wanted and put them in here. So these are all just different resources on the same topic that she wants to share with students, or maybe she's using it as her own reference. I'm not sure. But one of the things I did want to point out, and again, this is in your slides, is those leveled readings for reading skills for today's adults. Those are all in skill blocks, and they're all organized by CCRS levels. We've done A and B. I've got I need to finish C like next week. And then all that's left is level D, but there are 345 of them, and we've had some help with these. But if I click on any of these are the stories, and you can tell what's aligned to what. So this is a civics, this is workforce prep. We've got workforce prep again, health literacy. So let me go to one that is a big money bag. All right, here. Let me go to another one. I don't like that story. Smart food shopping. Okay, so this is one of the stories from reading skills for today's adults. If I open this, I could share this with learners, or I can save it as an instructor, or if I have a Skillblocks account, I can make a copy of it. And this has that reading skills for today's adults story, but it also has a comprehension quiz for that story that learners can get feedback. So I could start with a reading and actually have a reading lesson, and it's about a financial literacy topic. And then I, as a teacher, could take this and adapt it and add more things into it. So maybe I want to do something on, in this case, it's smart food shopping. So in this case, having students summarize or make a list of the tips for being a smart food shopper. So I could layer in activities that are focused on both like reading comprehension, but specifically on the financial literacy topics. So this is a free platform that isn't just a set of resources, but allows you to build lessons. And all of those stories and reading skills for today's adults are in here. So you can add them and layer in other resources into student-facing lessons. And teachers have already done that and been creating things. So that's that. We're at the end,
And there's a recording of your skill block session in Nuva that they.
which was
use their
earlier
skill
today.
block in Nuva.
Yeah. And if you go to Skillblocks and want to learn more about the platform, you can just go to the main page. This resources brings you to an about page. This will tell you all about it, how to use it, etc. But lots of many ways to skin the financial literacy cat. And I hope you leave with some ideas and some resources that you can use. So thanks for sticking around and enjoy your night. I know where we'll see him. Thanks.
Financial literacy cat.
The financial literacy cat. Bye, online people. Thank you so much.